President Trump promising to go to bat for small businesses as he addressed concerns about the rising costs of living that's gripped most of the country.
As president, I want you to know that I'm fighting every day to support small businesses like yours and the citizens that we all serve. And together we're fighting for an economy where everyone can win.
So how do the business owners across the country feel about the economy? Let's bring in our panel. New York City restaurateur Stratus Morfogen, Portland, Oregon business owner Amy Nichols, and Dan Villamere, the president of C&M Precision Tech. Thank y'all so much for joining the program this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank y'all so much. Let's go to Stratus first. Tell me how life is for you. Have things improved in these last 9 months, or what do you want to see change?
Yeah, things have improved. I mean, I buy thousands of eggs every week, and we went from $280 for 30 dozen down to $140. But like I've said a year ago, especially in regards to restaurants and food service, our inflation is tied to fuel costs. Right. When fuel costs drop, everything drops. You can see it in our vendors and our invoices, especially from out of state, from New Jersey coming into New York. We get a gas tax, we get a congestion tax. We are taxed to death. What I do think, what I'm waiting for, especially from this administration, who I believe is pro-business, is to remove the corporate payroll tax.
If you really want to know how the economy is going and going to get an inside look of what's happening, talk to a business owner. Their costs are through the roof. And they deal with everything from taxes, payroll, health insurance, retirement plans. They get to see a bigger picture. So an employee, right, who just is making, money, going in and putting those hours in, they don't get to see the bigger picture. They only get to see what's on their paycheck, right? A business owner, though, has to look at the business as a whole in its entirety. So everything he's talking about, and I remember when gas started to creep up, this was back, I would say, in 2019, 2020, especially here in California, gas started to creep up is when you started to see, I believe, the slowdown in the economy. Now, I can only speak about my town, so I'm going to do that. In Oakland, right, Oakland has one of the, for a long time, was a city that really thrived on small businesses. It did a very good job, especially in after the 90s and the early 2000s, of bringing small businesses back to Oakland so they can, obviously grow with their employment and with rising population of folks coming to work here. But as soon as the economy started to change, payroll taxes went up, the cost of goods went up, and you started to see all those businesses that came in, restaurants, retail stores, all these little small mom and pop businesses started to go away. Couple that with the, radical thought process of we don't need police, and then now they're getting robbed, right? They were the first ones to even go through that experience, right? And so I do think that, small businesses are the backbone of this country, and they ought to be, right? We want to see average people start businesses, employ your neighbors, right? Start the coffee shop on the corner, start the laundromat. You don't even really see like dry cleaners in a lot of places anymore, right? You have to go way across town to go to a dry cleaner because in some of these states, especially here in California, the cost of living here has just gone out of control. And because small businesses, they still have to pay themselves. They have families, they have mortgages, right? All those things have to be taken into consideration. So if this administration is pro-business, which, we all know that President Trump is, then yeah, hopefully we could see these prices come down and make it easier for small businesses to thrive.
Once we remove that, I believe we can hire more people, and we will see a trajectory like no other, because small businesses are the industry that drives this economy. And if we can remove those payroll corporate taxes, at least by 2 points to our employees, and completely.
Payroll taxes are killing small businesses. I don't even know why they exist, right? Why do I have to pay a payroll tax to pay people? Isn't employing folks an incentive enough to have a small business, now I have to pay a payroll tax on top of the other taxes I pay. And I know here in Oakland for sure, I think we have some of the highest payroll taxes in the country, or definitely in the state, because that is one of the most consistent comments that some of the business owners I know have made. And here's the reason why. What they've done is a lot of business owners, especially restaurants, have had to change their business model. So instead of having like servers and all these things, they'll have it to where now, you'll go into a restaurant and you go to the counter and you order. So you're not paying waitresses, you're not paying hostess and, all these folks that used to do, make the dining experience what it is. Now you're walking in restaurants, you're walking to the counters, right? You're ordering your food. They're like number 15, you come up there and it takes the ambiance of like why I like to go to restaurants. You want to go to restaurants so you can sit down and be served, not to have to jump up and jump down to go get food. You can go to fast food places like that. But when you go to restaurants, you want to experience. And that's things that are ultimately happening and changing because of payroll taxes, because of whatever other taxes that they're paying for. So I agree with them. Let's get rid of all this stuff and allow for these businesses to thrive.
Remove it from small business owners with businesses under 50, we will see a boom in this economy because we are the ones that drive this economy.
I don't think you're going to get any disagreement from your other panelists on that.
No.
Amy, what say you about this issue? How's life with your business these days?
Oh, it's continued to be pretty much a disaster in Portland, Oregon. Everywhere you look, you get fees, more fees put on you, increases, more taxes. Just as he stated, it's the same thing. If there was a way to do something with
It's almost like some of these states are doing the exact opposite of what's needed to be done, and purposely, like they're just driving out. Let's see, Portland, Oregon, for example, Oakland, California, San Francisco, all these cities are driving up costs, making it harder. But then they want to say, "Hey, we want to support small businesses. We want people." Why? Show that you do. And a lot of these taxes, like I know right now, Chicago had an influx of taxes for property taxes that went out towards a certain community. It was like black and brown people. I think close to $900, $800 increasing on their tax bill. Like, what is that money going through? And the reason why I asked that question, and the reason why I'm saying that, is because when you look at these cities and you look at the dysfunction, the dirty roads, the potholes, the schools, the homelessness, the housing. I mean, we can go on and go. So you're raising the cost of doing business, but what is the incentive? What are we getting back? And for a lot of time, and a lot of reasons, and a lot of times, there's really no incentive. So you're driving up costs and you're not adding back to the public sector. You're not adding value back to everyone who lives in your city. You're just driving up costs because what's happened is these cities have mismanaged money, and that is really the root problem with with all these cities, Oakland included. You've mismanaged money, right? So now the taxpayers have to pay you guys to get you guys out of defaults and budget deficits. But if the money was managed correctly in the first place, you wouldn't be doing this. You wouldn't be driving up property taxes and payroll taxes to cover your losses. And that's the reason why a lot of these cities are raising taxes.
the payroll tax, that would help immensely. We have our minimum wage goes up every year. It's just a constant burden. It's almost like they're pushing small businesses out of Portland, Oregon. And so anything that the current administration can do to help us, it would be phenomenal, because I don't believe Oregon will do that for us.
Look, I don't care who does it. Okay. Biden, Trump, I don't care. Like, somebody needs to step in and give small business owners a break, right? I mean, think about it from their standpoint. They had an idea. They have a love for something that they do. They want to share it with the world, right? And with that becomes the opportunity to be able to mass produce their business, to bring it to more people. With that becomes, I need help. I need more employees. I need people to man the counters and serve the food and, take the inventory, whatever it is, right? It becomes this whole ecosystem off of someone's like dedication and hard work. I don't know what she does, right? But with her thought process, with her goals of doing something that everyone can benefit from and share, she has to pay the brunt of the city's mistakes. And that's not fair, right? What it does, it stops people from wanting to open businesses, right? It stops people from wanting to open the restaurant, from wanting to open the clothing store, the cell phone shop. It's like all these little businesses, they matter, right? Because instead of having to go to these big conglomerates or, God knows, like everything's moved to Amazon, like, and see, this is the reason why these companies are failing, because it's almost like it's by design where, hey, we're going to push the small business owners out, but we're going to move everything to Amazon, right? And Amazon gets to squeeze people online, and they're the only one that profits from everything, right? So, but bringing it back to the business owners today, it's like we need to protect business owners. Business owners are very important in our society. Their gift of whatever vision and goals that they have of allowing people to work with them and to monetize their talents has to be protected. And if that's what's going on right now, I'm all for it. Let me know what you guys think. Should small business owners have to pay taxes? Should their taxes be reduced? What's going on in your city? Are you a small business owner, and what's happening with you, and how can the city help protect what you got going on and protect your business? With that being said, guys, this is Saving America's Money. Stay strong, stay safe, and continue to save America's money. Peace.